You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony.
Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. We're brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency, and Extreme Exteriors. You can count on Extreme Exteriors for expert installation of exterior siding, roofing, soffits, fascia, decks, windows, and more. With their knowledge and experience, they can design the perfect solution to make your home beautiful and energy efficient, saving you maintenance and money for years to come. Call Extreme Exteriors, 763-441-1334, and tell them Gene and Tony sent you. It's time now to hear from the Community Associations Institute. The CAI Minute is brought to you by New Concepts Rental Management. Whether you're an accidental landlord or a seasoned investor, New Concepts Rental Management can help you achieve your financial goals. New Concepts Rental Management can advise and guide you through every aspect of the business. Give me a call, Tony Crockett, at New Concepts Rental Management, 952-922-2500.
Are you a member of the Community Associations Institute? For nearly 40 years, CAI has provided education and resources to volunteer homeowners who govern community associations and the professionals who support them. Visit caionline.org to learn more. The address again is caionline.org. CAI helps community associations board members by providing online resources, in-person training, and hard copy publications written by association management experts. CAI offers community managers professional development, networking opportunities, and a certification program that is established as the industry standard nationwide. Minnesota has its own chapter of the Community Associations Institute to bring resources and tools from community associations around the country right to your home. Visit www.cai-mn.com to learn more and become a member of CAI today. Your community and management company will benefit from your involvement. Join the Community Associations Institute today at cai-mn.com and click on membership.
We'd like to hear from our listeners. We want to know your opinions. Yep. We want to know your ideas. If there's topics you'd like us to discuss, let us know. Call us on our hotline, 952-224-2668, 952-224-2668, and let us know what's on your mind.
That's right. Well, we're talking about this story in South Carolina. A gentleman from the state of Ohio came down to play golf and to have a little vacation in South Carolina. And while he was playing on the 11th hole of the Ocean Creek Golf Club on Fripp Island in 2009, which is also a part of the Fripp Island Homeowner Association, an alligator came out of the lagoon as he was picking up his ball, grabbed his arm, and he was in a tussle, ended up, his arm was ripped off, but the man lived and survived. That's unfortunate. What is also unfortunate is the fact that this man felt that there was responsibility that the golf course and the homeowners association had, because that's what he ended up doing, is turning around and suing them. And like we were stating in the last segment, a lot of times when you have a settlement, it is not because of someone admitting or claiming responsibility to any wrongdoing. It's because you have an insurance company that says, what is going to be the lesser of two evils here? Mm-hmm. What can we do to have the least amount of money pay out? And they offered a settlement to this gentleman, Mr. Winsek, and he took that so it didn't have to go to court.
Yeah. You know what bothers me, too, about this, Gene, is the victim's attorney, who is this Mr. Chappell, was the attorney, says there's no precedent for this settlement, that usually wild animals are wild animals and no one's held liable for wild animals' actions. And then he goes on to take credit. His defense, won this settlement. He says that they argued that the golf course and the homeowners association didn't do enough to mitigate alligator threat and, in fact, encouraged alligators by creating a favorable environment. Now, that kind of made me laugh because alligators like the same environment that people like, and people who live on golf courses like.
One thing that I guess crossed my mind when I read that too was it says there's evidence that they did not do enough to mitigate. If there was evidence, how come the attorney didn't mention what that evidence was?
Yeah, that's right.
To be able to throw out a statement like that,
Sure.
it, to me, is very irresponsible.
I think so too. And in fact, I think his whole stance on this, where he seems to be kind of self-congratulatory here that somehow he had something to do with winning this. I think that's sorry, BS.
Maybe that's the only way he could win.
No. He knew that
Yeah.
if they went after the insurance company, they'd get a settlement. Yeah. That's what I think. So it's the circumstances that made this case turn out the way it is.
That's what I mean. He knew he couldn't win in an argument in court, so it's nice that there's a payout here because he can beat his chest and say,
he's taking credit for it.
We won.
He's taking credit for it. He's saying this wasn't a migratory alligator. It was huge, so it's probably been living there eating raccoons, dogs, and deer. Again, whose fault is that? How is that someone's fault?
Yeah, and what is this? What is the association in the golf course doing? Are they strewing about dead carcasses of raccoons and dogs?
Are they feeding? Is someone feeding these alligators?
Yes, chickens by the lagoon. That's creating an environment.
I'd be very surprised.
I bet you that's what they're talking about, right? I mean, that's the only thing.
And then another argument was that his client was particularly affected by losing his arm, that he had such a serious plight, implying more so than another person might, because he loved the game of golf, and he played golf from Scotland to California, so this took away that ability. What kind of argument is that? That this person suffered more
because he really loved golf.
From the loss of his arm than another person.
Unlike a lot of other people that
who
play
don't
golf.
Really care no, or don't play golf.
Yeah, we know that
you don't need that extra arm.
Yeah. If you're not playing golf, what do you need an extra arm for? Aren't you being a little bit stingy?
You know, we're being flippant here, but it's about the attorneys and I rely on attorneys to do my work, and I rely on great attorneys to help me out. But there are just some out there that are willing to stoop to any low in order to screw somebody out of some money.
Yeah, you're right. I want to also make it very clear that there are a lot of attorneys that are just top notch.
Of course,
these are people that give great counsel.
That's right.
But this, to me, is the kind of guy who's an ambulance chaser to try and push, and he sees I can get quick money for myself and quick money for my client. Mm-hmm. There we go. We've got a payday. Now we move on. And that's what's wrong with
the system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons why costs go up the way they do is because all of these things do factor in. You talked about, you could understand this guy, Winsec, realizing, well, it's not going to be the association or the golf course that pays. Yes, they do. Ultimately, they do each and every year. And guess what? Winsec pays, and everybody else who needs to buy insurance each and every year because of all of these types of cases that keep coming forward over and over and over again.
That's right.
And to me, it does get to be about, I think, a matter that I'm beside myself.
You're getting beside yourself, Gene. I can see you beside yourself.
I'm sitting here beside myself.
Yeah,
I am.
You are.
When people, it's a case of morality. It really is.
Yeah.
People need to be thinking about what they are doing and their actions. And like I said earlier, it was driven into my head as a kid. I come home with a dog bite. My parents weren't thinking of suing. They actually said, what did you do to the dog?
Right.
Or they would have said, you just got to be more careful. But, here we have homeowner associations, golf courses, and people that love living there and playing in those places. Why? Because it's close to nature. But the fact that it's close to nature means you've got to be careful because guess what? The nature was there first before we were,
And the nature may make its presence known.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so to me, this is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
This is just someone who took advantage of a situation. Again, I'll just say that to what happened to Mr. Winsec, a tragedy. We're sorry, Mr. Winsec, that it happened. But I can't tell you that I think you were very wrong and irresponsible in pushing for a cash settlement and payout like this, to actually honestly believe that the homeowner association or the golf course in this case had any responsibility with an animal in the wild,
I agree.
and how it attacked him.
I agree.
So, well, we need to take a break right now. Let's do that. And when we come back, we've got a lot more of Where You Live. So don't go away. You're listening to Where You Live on AM 1280, The Patriot.